The fire spits, casting K-less shadow long dancing against the cave wall. It rides over the faded ochre paintings, the petroglyphs of Honk's past, where stick-limbed figures hurl spears at bison with horns like twin moons. Mora, the clan chief, watches not the shadow but the shaman's eyes. They are wide, pupils like black stones dropped in pools of terror. He still smells of the smoke from the sacred herbs, a bittersweet scent that clings to his deer hide robes. But the vision that grips him is not one of peace. He speaks of water, not the gentle curve of the river in the valley below, but a world-devouring ocean, a punishment sent from the sky gods. He saw it, he insists, his voice a dry rasp. He saw the great serpent uncoil from the storm clouds and drown the sun. Doubt is a luxury the Sunstone clan cannot afford. Faith is a tool as vital as a flint knife or a sinew bowstring. It is the sinew that binds the clan together. Mara looks at the faces around the fire. Old Alora, her hands gnawed from a lifetime of scraping hides. Young Dawn, his chin still soft with youth, clutching a newly napped spearhead, the mothers hushing infants at their breasts. Their lives are in her hands, but her hands are guided by Kada's visions. To ignore him is to spit in the face of the spirits that grant them successful hunts and keep the pack hunters at bay. To follow him is to abandon the only home their ancestors have ever known. This cave, carved by an ancient river, is their fortress. Its narrow entrance keeps the larger beasts out. Its deep chambers shield them from the searing sun and the biting winter. Leaving it means walking into the open jaws of this prehistoric world. The choice is made in silence. Mara gives a single, sharp nod. The clan moves. There is no panic, only a grim, hurried efficiency that speaks of a life lived on the edge of extinction. Hides are rolled, dried meat is packed into leather satchels. Children are bundled onto their mothers' backs. The men check the tips of their osteodontochoratic technology, spears tipped with sharpened triceratops horn, daggers carved from the serrated teeth of a slain carnivore. Each tool is a memory of a successful gamble against death. Now they are gambling everything on a nightmare that flickered behind one man's eyes. As they step out from the mouth of the cave, the familiar valley seems alien hostile. The very air tastes of risk. Their goal, Kada's sanctuary, is the barren mesa, a flat-top mountain that looms on the horizon, a table for the gods. To reach it, they must cross the open plains, the hunting grounds of the Allosaurus. They find its tracks within the first hour, each footprint a hole large enough for a child to sleep in, a fresh reminder of what stalks this land. The world before humans was not empty, it was full, and everything in it was hungry. The climb to the barren mesa is a penance bathed in sweat and blood. Loose scree gives way underfoot, sending stones clattering into the gullies below. The wind here is a living thing, a predator that tears at their hides and sucks the warmth from their bones. There are no caves, no overhangs, only the flat, exposed rock of the summit. From this height, their abandoned valley is a green scar in the vast, indifferent landscape of this ancient earth. They can see their cave, the dark mouth and the cliffside, a symbol of all the security they have willingly thrown away. Mara watches Dawn help old Elara over the final ledge, his young strength pitted against her frailty. She sees the mothers huddling their children together, their bodies forming a living wall against the relentless wind. They have made it. They have obeyed. Now they can only wait for the sky to prove them right. As dusk bleeds across the horizon, the full moon rises. It is a perfect, luminous disk, larger and brighter than any of them have ever seen it. It hangs in the star-dusted dark like a divine judgment. Kale stands at the edge of the mesa, his arms outstretched, his silhouette a stark figure against the celestial glare. His voice, hoarse from the climb and the dry air, begins the final chant. It is a plea and a prayer, a song of appeasement to the great serpent he saw in his vision. Their voices a low, wavering chorus that the wind snatches and throws into the abyss. They are a small band of Homo sapiens, a fragile species armed with little more than belief, huddled on a rock, singing to the moon to beg for their lives. Fear is a cold cloak they all share. Every rustle of the wind sounds like the hiss of a rising tide. Every distant cry of a nocturnal hunter is mistaken for the shriek of the sky god's anger. The moon crawls to its zenith, bathing the mesa in an ethereal bone-white light. This is the moment. The world holds its breath. K-less chanting reaches a fevered pitch. The people grip their spears, their loved ones, their loved ones, their own rambling hands. They wait for the ground to shake, for the roar of water that will erase the world. But the only sound is the wind, and the only movement is the slow, inexorable journey of the moon across the sky. An hour passes. Then another. The silence deepens, transformed. It is no longer the silence of anticipation, but the cold, empty silence of absence. Kayla's voice cracks, falters, and then dies. He falls to his knees, his chant dissolving into a choked whisper. Below in the valley, a herd of Triceratops, disturbed by a night hunter, bellows a challenge, the sound carrying clearly up to the silent mesa. Their world, the real world of tooth and horn, continues, utterly indifferent to the apocalypse that never was. As the first hint of dawn touches the eastern sky, the clan turns as one, from the silent heavens, and looks at the broken man who led them there. The moon, now pale and serene, mocks them from a sky that has never been clearer. The sun crests the eastern ridge, a merciless eye flooding the world with light. It reveals the valley below, not drowned and scoured, but exactly as they left it. The river glints, the trees are green, and a thin wisp of smoke still rises from the dead embers of their abandoned home fire. The truth is laid bare, undeniable and brutal. There is no great serpent. There are no angry gods. There is only the wind, the cold rock, and their own folly. A low growl starts into Rn's chest. He takes a step toward Kale, who remains a crumpled heap on the ground. Shaman, Dawn spits the word like a shard of bone. Your spirits lied. The accusation hangs in the cold air. Others murmur their assent. The exhaustion of the climb and the terror of the night curdle into a raw, burning anger. They have given up everything, their warmth, their safety, their stores of food, for a phantom. Old Elara, her face a mask of weary disappointment, shakes her head slowly. The mothers clutch their children tighter, their expressions hardening. This is more than a mistake, it is a betrayal that has put every one of their lives at risk. Mara steps between Dawn and the shaman. He believed, she says, her voice slow but firm. We all believed. But her words are a small dam against a rising tide of fury. Dawn shoves past her. Belief does not fill a child's stomach, he snarls, pointing a spear tipped with polished horn, a piece of their hard-won osteod on Turkeratic technology, not at Kale, but at the ground before him. Belief does not keep the hunters away. The clan splinters. Some move to stand with Dawn, their faces set and grim. A few older members remain near Mara, their loyalty torn between the chief who keeps them alive and the spiritual tradition that gives their harsh lives meaning. The human tension is a taut string about to snap. And then a new sound cuts through the wind, a high-pitched, chittering call, like a bird and a reptile speaking in a shared, lethal language. Everyone freezes. From behind the rock formations at the far end of the mesa, a head appears. It is sleek, narrow, and reptilian, with an unblinking yellow eye that swivels, calculating. Then another head appears, and another, a pack of Velociraptors. They move with a twitchy, intelligent quickness, their sickle claws held aloft, tapping against the stone with each step. They had been watching, waiting for the strange, loud apes to show a sign of weakness. And now they have. The internal conflict evaporates in a flash of pure, primal fear. Mara barks a command, and the clan instinctively collapses into a defensive circle, children in the center, spears pointing out. The schism is forgotten. The argument over false gods is silenced by the arrival of very real demons. Kale, his face streaked with tears of shame, scrambles to his feet and grabs a heavy stone, his knuckles white. The gods of the sky may be silent, but the gods of stone and bone are here, and they are hungry. The failed prophecy became a defining scar on the soul of the Sunstone clan. They fought their way down from the mesa, a smaller, leaner group, bonded not by blind faith, but by the shared memory of blood on stone. They returned to their cave, but it was no longer a sanctuary granted by spirits. Gale, the shaman again. He became a stone napper, his hands, once used for sacred ritual, now dedicated to the tangible work of survival. His visions forever silent, mocking moon. This crisis of faith, this agonizing moment of disillusionment, was a critical step in human evolution. It was the first time they looked at the heavens and saw not gods, but only sky. It was the moment they understood that the most powerful spirits were not in the clouds, but in the intelligent mind, the cooperative community, and the courageous heart. Their struggle was a lesson written in terror and loss. When the gods fail you, you must become your own. It is the audacious bedrock of the human story, a refusal to be a pawn in a world of monsters and myths, and the first true step toward becoming the masters of it. Listen, and you will hear the echo of their defiance in the bedrock of your own bones. A new whisper begins to spread, carried on the wind from the southern swamps, a story of a beast so vast it hunts the thunder,